Your crimes marked? Yes, what are your crimes marked? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? We'll find your crimes and rake it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So will your crimes marked? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Good evening and welcome back to Xenu TV. Here on the planet of Tigiak, where your favorite duo, Mark and Tori, are ready to chat. Isn't it exciting? People all across this sector of the galaxy have been waiting for this reunion. So it's good to see you, Tori.
It's good to see you too.
And you're safe?
Well, I'm relatively safe. The fires have, they started out on the beach and then one ended up on the east side by above Pasadena where my son lived.
Altadena?
So he had to evacuate Tuesday and I lost all my electricity. So that was really scary. And anyway, long story short, I got back the electricity at 3 a.m. and he's still here. His entire town burnt to the ground. Altadena, it's gone. Whole thing.
Yeah, that's tragic. I used to date a woman who lives in Altadena, and I know we went through a fire at that point. This was several years ago.
Yeah.
And an actor that I worked with way back in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, on a movie called Exit Dying. His name is Henry Darrow, and he was Manny on High Chaparral years ago. And he lived in Altadena too. So when the fire happened, I went and checked on his house and made sure he was okay.
It's so amazing how quick it happens. A friend of his called me Monday night or Tuesday evening, early evening, and said, I can't get through to Justin. And I'm watching the news about Pacific Palisades out on the beach. And I know nothing about a fire there. And she said, well, there's a fire starting. And you can go on my Facebook site, Tori Chrisman, and see the 3 or 4 pictures he took as he was evacuating. And it's unbelievable how close it was to him. And he was smart enough to pack up everything. He just packed up everything and came here thinking, we both thought, okay, tomorrow morning you can go back. Wrong. It's completely not only burnt to the ground. We don't know if his building is. His building may be one of 2. Jack in the Box is one, and he's right down the street from that. But if it isn't, either way, the police today, he went and they've got it all locked off. Nobody can come. And just for the record, anybody thinking they can cruise around and take videos of all this stuff, they're now arresting people. If you're not supposed to be in a fire zone area, they're just arresting people. Yeah.
There's been some reports of looting, so they're trying to crack down on all that.
Yeah.
We talked last night, and like 3, 4 in the morning, something like that. So I wanted to check and see if you're okay. And you had mentioned at that point that that the water, the fire hydrants weren't pumping water. And it
20%.
turned out it wasn't a shortage of water that was the problem. The electrical companies shut down their system. So the pumps didn't have the power to pump up the water all the way up there to the, top of Altadena, where there's some, bluffs and things. Because, and the electrical company said, well, we did that as a precaution because we didn't want the fire to knock down any wires that would spark another fire in another place. But they also didn't want to be sued for creating any fires in another place because there was a lot of scandal about them in the past. So now to get around that, they're just saying, okay, nobody gets power, including the fire hydrants.
Wow.
So it's a tough
thing. Speaking of water, is do not, if you're in the Pasadena area, they've warned on the news, do not drink the water. Even if you boil your water, don't drink it, because that's how bad the air is.
What do you recommend? Whiskey?
I like the fire whiskey.
Okay, all right. I'll stick with my Diet Pepsi. Let's say hi to some folks here.
I
We've
stick
got
with my
people here.
carbonated water.
I see Steph the writer is here. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate you coming
Oh
by to
yeah.
help out.
Hi. Hi everyone.
Stacy Toms. Hi, Tori. Hi, Mark. Hi, back to you. Who else we have?
Kelly says
An unknown Monica. Ready to hear what can be done about it. Oh, I think that I titled this "Something Can Be Done About It." About Scientology and emergencies. Nikki, good evening. Nice tribute to Mike in the name. Thank you. And let's see. JB808. Oh, my two faves. Here we are.
Hi.
Magooski
Hi
and Bunky.
JB808. You're a fave of mine.
Parasocial audience. Hail Lord Xenu and hail Princess Tori.
That's right. And I have a crown.
Well, there you go. Aha.
Yeah.
Monica is thrilled that Tori is still safe. Sharona. Oh, a double treat. Mark and Tori. Hello, everybody. Well, hello back at you. Everybody say hello to Sharona.
Hello.
All right. Catching up here. Fuzzy pink handcuffs. Quick hello to you. She's waving at Kelly, but I'm going to wave.
Pink handcuffs.
Apollo 0. Wow, this is like going back in time with two of you.
I know.
Oh,
the only thing Mark misses is he needs his crown. See, I've got mine.
Know, I have a halo.
That's
so
true.
I'm fine.
You do. You have an ongoing halo.
Rhonda Braden loves us both.
Thank you.
And all the way up from Canada, Marty Kingshot. Hello from Canada, Mark and Tori.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Cher Yelverton. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Queen Tori.
Thank you.
And Bridge stopped by. Bridge 1872. Hi, all. Hello. Hello to you.
Hello.
Oh. And she loves the lavender shirt. Thank you. I am a fashion plate, is what I am.
I always say, ask Mark.
And I'm saying hello to Cornelius, and then we should get on with this. And everybody else who's coming in afterwards, we love you. Okay, salty writer, I'm going to say hi to you too.
There you go.
Cornelius Antonius is here, and Cat Daddy and non-cat Kitty Cat Spanker, AK and KKS. Wow, it's a full house. And okay, because you came all the way from Sweden, Doric, I'm saying hello to you too. Now, all right. It seems like this has been a better day for the fires today than yesterday. The winds have died down a bit. I haven't watched a lot of the news today, but
it's not a better day.
No,
it's a better day. Not. The first two ones. First of all, the Palisades one is already burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
Altadena is burnt to the ground. So now these other three ones, the Hollywood one is the only one that's kind of under control, even though they say zero containment. But my friend Andrew came over here last night. He's in a 15-story building, and they were pounding on his door saying, "Get out and don't take your car," because there were too many cars on the street. So he took a suitcase and he's walking down the street, and I call him and I said, "Look, I'll come get you." And he said, "No." And he realized he left his keys in the door. So he went back to get the keys. And by then all the cars were gone. So he got his car and came over here. So he had to evacuate at the time. But by midnight, the fire department said, "We're out of here." And I said, "Look, if they're leaving, you can go home." So I said, "Call your reception," because he lives in a big, building with a reception and everything. And he called her and she said, "Yeah, come home." So that was that. But there's still now these big ones that are closer to me coming this way. And it's sort of spooky because the winds are always at night, the winds pick up. And it's like this one's out in Calabasas. You know where that is, Mark, right? Off the 101.
Uh-huh.
It's in Calabasas, but if you look at the fire line, it's like huge. It started out at 2 p.m, and by now it's just gigantic. So, you just don't know. You don't know.
So the one that was approaching the Celebrity Center, that one they have reasonably under control.
Yeah, they're not going to let
West of
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
As soon as it happened, I thought, no, they can't control the winds, but they can, because the winds had died down, they were able to drop water, and that was able to pretty much put it out.
If they can control hurricanes and produce them at will to get back at Republican states, they should be able to control the fire as well.
I know. And they always take credit for whenever, like I lived in Clearwater for 2 years, and you've got the hurricanes there. And whenever the hurricanes came and they went around flag, Scientology took the credit and said, well, the OTs handled it. And whenever something bad happened, it was because of the SPs. That's always the way they are.
Well, I thought we would take this time here to talk a little bit about how Scientology exploits tragedies like this with the volunteer ministers. Yeah. Do you have any experience with volunteer ministers?
Not as they have them now, but I was one of the original volunteer ministers where, it was just when we moved to Clearwater in 79, they had the big Save Sparkling Clearwater stamp out Scientology. And Milk Wolf called me in his office and said, you've got to handle this. And I said, I just had a baby. What am I supposed to do? You guys handle it. And anyway, he said, no, we came on a lie and he's promoting we're liars. So you've got to handle it. So I did. I just went person to person and went into the meetings and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, he ended up getting voted out of office. So then I went from being zero in OSA, nobody knew me at all, to now it was like, call Tori, she can handle anything. And so that happened over and over and over. And so I became like a volunteer, but they didn't have the volunteer ministers like they have now, this whole weirdo crew.
You didn't get a yellow T-shirt or
no.
Orange? What exact shade is that? I guess it's yellow.
I have no idea. They're probably trying to make it, I don't know. I really don't. They didn't have anything like that when I was doing it.
Somewhere I've got an identical vulture minister T-shirt that I think somebody in the Scientology vulture ministers. I think there were a bunch of T-shirts made up during the anonymous days, and I think I got one when I was in Ireland. Not too long after that.
I didn't get one when I was in Ireland.
Well,
maybe I did. I don't know. I have so many T-shirts. I gave up on them, because I don't wear them anyway.
You don't know the right people.
Well, I don't wear T-shirts, so I have a bunch of them, but I should probably start selling them.
I don't often wear them myself. I actually wore one, not that one, but one that was about Scientology when I was getting signatures for re-election. But my plan was not to go out and get signatures that day. I just happened to hear, there's this big event. There's going to be a couple thousand people there, and they'll all want to sign. So I ran over to this place, and it turned out it was a church. And of course, you can't gather anything there. There's no signing of anything at a church. So and there I was with my little Xenu shirt or whatever it was. But
why don't you tell them about when you were in Washington signing things?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We went from the anonymous flew us to London, right?
Mm-hmm.
To protest with them. You remember that?
Yep. Oh, I remember being in London. Yep.
Okay, good. And then we came back to Washington, D.C., I think.
Yes, we did. We did.
Right?
Yep.
And that's where all those girls wanted you to sign their bras.
I wouldn't say all.
You were going into town on it.
There was one. There was
more?
That's all. No, there's just the one.
Oh.
And that, and that was enough for my lifetime. Girls, keep your breastises to yourself. I have signed my entire limit of breasts. So
that was a fun time. It really was.
Yeah, it was fun. We were on the national square, right? Where I had a dream speech was given. We were right on the steps there. and a whole bunch of anonymous people. It was a really wonderful
Yeah.
event. It
was a great
then
time.
that was memorable for me, although I don't talk about it. Robert has a question here. Is Scientology volunteer outreach something that is asked for, or do they just show up? Well, I think we know, if somebody at 9/11, they don't have to call Scientology. Scientology knows, oh, here's our chance to get down there, both to help, because I know all the people who are volunteer ministers, I'm sure they are really serious in helping, and they do some good things, but then they also, as on 9/11, they were chasing away psychiatrists and bragging about it.
And put up their 1-800-for-truth phone number underneath Bush for mental health.
Yeah, that was absolutely. And I was hoping to find the. Well, I got to push it over here. Bye, Robert. But don't leave, Robert. I was hoping to find a video of that because I had it on VHS. When this happened, this was during the National Church
It was the
service.
day of it happening.
No, it was a couple of days later when President Bush and all the past presidents were there for an official religious ceremony, and every single network took that live. And on Fox, they had a crawl at the bottom of the screen for National Mental Health Assistance. Call 1-800-for-truth, the Scientology
And
network.
I went online and said, that's the Dianetic hotline. And we all called the station and told them. They said, this is Scientology. They're 100% against mental health. And they took it off right away.
They did. So I'm glad they reacted as quickly as they did. But that shows you how Scientology can exploit any disaster.
Sadly, they will do anything.
Yeah.
Get their name.
And I was looking online. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can pull some of these things up here. I had share screen. Let's take a look at this one. Scientologist treatments lure firefighters. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make that a little bigger here. Oh, nope, doesn't change anything on this end.
I see.
All right. For the past year, more than 140 New York City firefighters, some ailing from their work in the ruins of the World Trade Center, have walked into this medical clinic just 2 blocks from the former disaster site. Inside there, they were actually going for the Purif. And it was such a successful way for them to sucker in all these firefighters and to get a lot of attention for all the great work they're doing. Except the folks back at the fire station, the bosses, all the people in the know were saying, this is not safe. You should not do that. But it was a huge thing where Tom Cruise had kind of fronted this thing, and I think paid for all the firefighters' treatments, as I remember.
Probably.
Yeah. And also, but what bugged me the most is just the fact that they were chasing away people who really might be able to help. And
they never considered that.
Yeah. No, I mean, there was recordings of them that I believe was on. Where'd you go? Did I lose you, Tori? Oh, I think we may have lost her. Well, she'll get back, I'm sure. Unless, of course, fire snuck up behind her and oh my God. But as I was saying, every year, and I had a few other articles here on the anniversary, they brag about how from the ruins. Oh, there's Magooski. Oh, welcome back.
Thank you.
So every year on the anniversary of 9/11, Scientology sends out another press release. From the rubble of 9/11 was born the Vulture Ministers. And that was the Volunteer Ministers Disaster Relief Squad, something like that.
And Scientology sends that out?
Yeah, I have several of them. At the risk of screwing everything up again, let me see if I can pull one of those up. This is on the PR Newswire site, and they use this all the time. Every single day, they're sending things out, press releases to all of these. There are various services where they'll distribute it to every newspaper and everything, just to make sure that that this is well seen across the country. And there are some, usually, big papers don't really pay attention to these things. Let me see if I can go to the other one. I have to figure out how to smoothly do all of this. Oh, where'd it go? All right, I'm just stopping that for now. Forget it. I had a couple other press releases. I had something from Tony there when he was talking about how Scientology exploits these tragedies. I'll put the link up here.
Put it up. We'll wait. We don't mind. Yeah. Try it out.
All right. Let me see
if I can get it. You took the time to find it. I hate to have you, if you put the link, I don't know. It's hard to find.
Screen. Let's see. This one.
We'll stay here.
All right.
There you go.
Global Psychiatric Obliteration, Scientology's ongoing war on psychiatry. I'm just trying to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing.
I am. I have to come over here. Drugs.
Oops, sorry. So, Scientology continues to battle psychiatry to this day, but its war has shifted focus and tactic since Miscavige took over as its leader in the 1980s. In 1983, Miscavige abolished the Guardian's office and replaced it with OSA, fulfilling many of the same functions. What I wanted to talk about was down farther here. An even more distasteful intervention came after the 9/11 terrorist attacks in New York and Washington, D.C., when Scientologists set up telephone hotlines under the name of the National Mental Health Assistance, not coincidentally similar to the legitimate National Mental Health Association. Wow. Scientology volunteer ministers are on the ground, steered distressed survivors away from mental health counseling teams and towards Scientology centers. A Scientologist involved in the campaign wrote, "We are trying to move in and knock out the psychs out of counseling to the grieving families. Due to some brilliant maneuvering by some simply genius Sea Org members, we tied up the majority of the psychs who were attempting to get to families yesterday in questions and answers, bold bait, insults, and wrangling. And they have a hard time completing cycles of action and are pretty easy to disperse. But today, they're all out in full force and circling like vultures over these people, and all of our resources are tied up in the support efforts in the disaster zone at present." I believe it was one of the English papers, one of the London papers, that actually had recordings that were captured of them chortling about chasing away the evil psychs.
Yeah, the day that we got the 1-800-for-truth knocked out, I called them, and this young girl answered 1-800-for-truth, and I said, "You got to be kidding me! You're promoting your mental health after 9/11?" And she said, Dianetics, Modern Science of Mental Health. It was just frightening to hear the brainwashing. It was like, ay.
Yeah. And those press releases they send out every single day. Now, major papers don't pick them up, but there are smaller papers that need something to fill up the pages that they'll just go ahead and print it. And then you'll find occasionally there'll be some puff piece. Like I just saw something, I think it was in the Tampa Bay Times, about the 30 glorious years of winter wonderland being brought to the area by Scientology. Really? Okay. Let's see if there are some comments here we should be checking out. Philosophy. Wow, this is absolutely disgusting and really frightening. It's true.
If you only knew. We used to always say, find out about Scientology. It's worse than you think. I know Sophie knows that, but it's a really good thing to remember.
Speaking of which, I found out for myself back in 2011 when they opened up the Tampa Ideal Org over in Ybor City. There was a big open house. So I decided I would go and attend. And I had my cameraman. He was stationed outside the building. I had a wireless mic on, and I wandered through the building. And I was hoping he'd at least capture a little audio, but it didn't reach him. But I had a small camera that I was shooting with. And I signed in. You know, there's a little guest book. I signed my real name. I never hide. And I had permission. Hey, is it okay to take pictures and shoot some video in here? They say, yeah, that's perfectly fine. So I wander around shooting a little footage inside, including one very helpful woman who was showing me the magical displays, the video displays where you can push a button and then you learn something miraculous about Hubbard or Scientology. Well, I mean, it was opening day, so she pushed the button and nothing was happening. And I have footage of her fumbling around with that and calling over some other guy and eventually starting it. It was in Spanish. And, okay, that's fine. But once I was done in there, I wandered outside and there was a volunteer minister's tent out there. And there were two people manning that. And they were, oops, there we go. No, that's not it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's nice though, isn't it?
Yeah, wow.
No, I edit that too fast.
Very snazzy.
Well, where'd that go? Hey.
Yeah, bring that back.
Okay, well, darn it. Well, anyway, what I was going to show you is just a still picture of the two people you're going to see at the beginning of this video.
Okay.
And I wanted to show the still because it didn't focus on the guy in the background too long in the video. Right. And I just wanted to give when this woman is talking, look in the background. There's a very disgruntled guy who's been eyeing me warily as I walked around shooting video
Harold,
of all
is it?
their pamphlets. No, it's not. But he was very skeptical from the moment I approached. She was nice enough to give me some information, and I got my own personal touch assist. And when she had me lying down on the table, I asked the surly guy, hey, would you take the camera and just shoot a little of this for me? And he did. So the footage you see of me on the table is being filmed by this guy who's already suspicious. And at a certain point, he says, I think I've done this enough. And that's pretty much when it ends. But the other really interesting thing here, well, I'll tell you when we get to it or afterwards. Okay. Let's take a look.
Oops. For the Scientology of TAM.
Hmm?
I coordinate the volunteer ministers.
Okay.
For the Tampa Bay area.
What do the volunteer ministers do?
Well, like you could see on there, a big part of what we do is we do a lot of disaster response. Yes. Right. So I myself was at 9/11, Katrina, coordinated getting about a dozen volunteer ministers to go help when the tsunami happened in Asia. Hurricane Katrina, we had several hundred volunteer ministers that went and helped in Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
What type of things do you do once you're there helping?
Well, the thing is when you arrive, we normally are in contact with the Emergency Operations Center for the area and find out what do they need and want at that time. And never just assume you have to find out what can we help you with. You know, at Ground Zero, the first thing was bringing them water and food, like the police and some of the rescue workers. And then you had some of the volunteer ministers that were actually in line digging as well. But if I can show you here,
She was very
this
nice.
was at Ground Zero. We had cots set up
Wow.
where they were delivering these assists that just help with stress and aches and pains.
Explain that to me. What is that all about?
Well, they're called
Nice.
assists. So basically, you have.
I don't even know what she said. I can't hear her.
Oh, you can't hear?
No.
When
Oh,
Hubbard
she's talking-
developed these assists so people could help each
She's
other.
talking about assists
Right,
right
this
now to help each
particular
other.
one, what we did a lot of is called the nerve assist.
The nerve
right?
assist, Tori.
So basically, by helping the nerves,
I know it.
it can help the muscles to relax. Like if chiropractors use it,
Yeah.
well, it can help people to keep their adjustment volume.
yeah,
because
it's good for
it's-
chiropractors to use.
If I see a guy lying on the ground. What is it that you do in this assist? Oh, he's on a cot. Okay.
So they did thousands of these at Ground Zero. These guys were, they were working around the clock, so they were exhausted, they were in pain, and it just basically helped them to get back up and, continue digging,
Right.
try to find
But
people.
think
They
about
did.
it.
They
If
did
you have a couple
thousands.
minutes, we'd love to give you
Think
an
about
Ground
it.
Oh, that'd be
Just
fun.
pause it for a minute.
I wonder. Let's see.
I hope I can. Oh, looks like I can. Tiny little button, but I
There
did
you
it.
go. Anything. I mean, if you're a firefighter and you're working and slaving away, and someone says, "Lay down, I'll give you a massage or a touch assist or something," anyone just laying down and resting is, of course, going to make you feel better. It's not the
Yep.
touch assist; it's just getting to rest for a minute. That's my opinion.
You're right. And, she's going to demonstrate it right now. And, running your fingers up and down the back, I'm not sure that that's a great help. But lying down and resting for a bit can't hurt.
That's what I'm saying. The resting, sure, but the nerve assist, not really. I mean, the one time I had a huge win with the touch assist was with Karen Black. I told you that. Remember that?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
lost
tell it
your
again.
voice. And Yvonne said, "Can you go and give Karen Black a touch assist?" And I said, "Sure." And I went over to her house. I hadn't done OT3, so I had no idea what she was doing. And I would go, touch assist is like, feel my finger, thank you. Feel my finger, yeah, feel my finger. And you kind of go back and forth around the body. It's not a nerve assist. A nerve assist is like up and down the back, and then you spread your fingers out, kind of thing. But each one of them, it's just sort of some kind of communication. But the touch assist was very definite. And I would go like this, feel my finger, and I'm not exaggerating. 20 minutes later, she'd go, okay. And then I'd go, feel my finger, and 20 minutes later, she'd go, okay. I had no idea what she was doing. And she got her voice back, and she got Nashville the next day, which really boomed her career. And for years, as long as she was alive and saw me, wherever we were in LA, she'd be like, Tori, come over here. I want you to meet my friends. This is Tori. She's the person who helped me get my voice back. So I got Nashville, with Scientology's touch assist. She would always pitch that.
You made film history.
Well, I made Scientology history, that's for sure, with her.
So I see this comment here from Does It Matter to You, Not to Me. We all thought we were doing the greatest good, hook, line, and sinker. It's something. I can't read the rest of it. But so I'm assuming, that you were a volunteer minister at some point? Just let me know, but it sounds like that's the case. And again, as the folks who are out there doing the work, they're putting their all into it. And I nothing against anybody who wants to go out there and get water to people, get help for people. Maybe not the touch assist that much, but what the hell? As Tori says, you can sit and rest. Let's take a look at the rest of my touch assist as it's just about.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Here. So, boom.
I have to
At
congratulate
the-
you that you got them to
Oh,
film.
wait. Come on.
Would
There
you
we go.
mind filming this? Because it'd be cool to have.
So I'm asking
you can just keep pointing at
for
it.
them to for the guy to hold
My
it.
name's Judy. Hi. So you too. So all you need to do is you slip off your shoes, and then you lie face down.
Right.
And then
This looks like a massage group.
Lump your cigarette.
yeah. I mean, you can. These are.
Thanks.
It's just easier to deliver the assists
Now
that way.
you may be able
So-
to see
Good. So the thing is, have you lie face
on my
down,
back.
and
There's
follow
a
the
little
nerve channels in your
bump
back,
right toward the
and I'm
going to
have you turn over, and then follow the nerve
And
channels around to the front
That's
of your
my
body,
microphone.
and then stroking down the arms and the legs. And we just do it to the point where you've had some good relief. Do you
it's what's
have any?
sending out the audio
HFPs
to
or
the
something?
camera.
Boy, do I ever! I'm icky all over, but I think down in my foot right now.
Okay, your which foot? That one, your. Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and do this. Just let me know if you feel lightheaded or if you feel like you've had good relief, or I'll just check. Okay, great. Start
She's
assist.
concerned. And now start assist.
That's
Yeah, this is a
well, that
nervous.
feels nice.
And as she's doing that, she's running her fingers right over the big little microphone, not receiver, but audio pad, whatever it's called. I
Little-
can't remember right now.
See, I never did any of that. They didn't have these
Huh?
assists when I
Yes.
was. They would just send me out to
Excuse.
handle the critics.
So as she's doing this and hitting the pack there, I'm thinking, oh, I'm busted now. But she still
Why?
keeps going for a while.
Why
Because
did you think
who has a big metal thing in the back of her?
Okay.
Oh,
so then turn over.
yeah.
Do you want to take this off for a minute, just because it might tend to press and take?
Oh,
but
now
we're
she's
doing it.
saying,
It's
take
okay?
it off.
Okay.
busted?
Yeah, we'll
Mind if I
still
set
go
this
on for
down?
a little bit.
Sure.
Oh, there-
I'll
now
take it.
he's
okay.
Now he's
Thank
fed
you.
up. And
See if
that's
I
the
can
end of it.
get an angle this way.
What happened?
Try that.
Will I use my
Oh,
gloves?
he just
So you're not gonna be able to
you know
hold that
he
and
he
have
caught
this-
on
We're
and
gonna-
he
we're
just
gonna put
said,
this in the-
Okay.
"Here, you can have this."
Thank
back."
you.
Yep,
That's pretty
So-
amazing, though, that you got that on video.
it was fun. Yeah,
But see, they never had that when I was helping as a volunteer. They never had any. They didn't do any of those assists or anything.
Ooh, hold on.
Did you hear that?
They didn't have the assists and everything, or something like that.
They didn't have any assists. You know, they
Any
just would
assists.
send me out to handle the critics, to talk to them.
I saw somebody acknowledge that they were aware of Henry Darrow. Henry Darrow was a nice guy.
Of who?
Henry Darrow was an actor, a character actor who did several TV shows. High Chaparral was a Western with Barbara Stanwyck that was on for years. He was a regular on that. And then he was the boss of was it Manny O or Mannix? No, Harry O. It was a show with the guy who starred in Mannix playing Harry O. And he was that cop's gruff boss in that one. And then he came to Oshkosh to do a student film that I was part of. We had a professor at the college, Bob Jacobs, who had worked in Hollywood, and he came to teach film studies at the university. And he was fun. He was a character. He made like a Disney true life nature films. So they do something about flying squirrels, and they actually just taped some wings on a squirrel and threw him out of a tree to get the shots. And he was talking about, hey, you know, we could make a movie. We could make a movie, and we said, well, let's do it. And so we did. We made a 90-minute made-for-TV movie. And he went out to Hollywood to hire some actors, and he went out hoping to get Zorro.
Oh,
But he got the wrong guy. Guy Williams played Zorro and was the father on Lost in Space. He actually met with Guy Williams, who was much older and not who he wanted for it. But he also found the Henry Darrow, and so we hired him, and he came to town and shot this. And it was an interesting shoot, and I should probably talk about that at length on some other video, because it was quite a story.
Yeah.
And the film, of course, sucks. It's right up there with The Prophet. But it was a great experience, and he was Henry Darrow was very supportive of me, as I've been talking about how much I like being behind the camera doing stuff. Someone told him that, and he came running over to me and said, "What's all about this? You going behind the camera? You're too good for that. You got to be on camera."
It's true.
Yeah, and then when I moved to LA a few years later, I looked him up. At that point, he was hosting a live version of Bingo on one of the local TV stations. And so we had that in common, because when I was on the radio back in Wisconsin, there was an hour in the morning where we would play radio bingo. So we, spin the little thing and pull out a number and B4. And then there were bingo cards distributed at grocery stores and things like that.
Oh,
so
fun.
somebody would call out bingo, and they'd get a little award. It was very minor. It's like $10 for the day. But man, that's some fine broadcasting when you're sitting there playing radio bingo. So I had to go and chat with my fellow bingo host. But he continued to work extensively. In fact, I was just looking at his the credits in Fandango, all the movies and TV shows he's done. He did several episodes of Star Trek Next Generation, and one or two of the other Star Trek shows at that period. So I would see him pop up from time to time. Anyway, just nice guy is what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I'm going to change the subject.
Well, why not?
Lapisha asked, does everybody learn these assists that you got? And and my answer would be no, they don't. I mean, a lot of people do. I forget which course it's on, but I think most people learn how to do a touch assist. But how many people actually are sent out as volunteers to help someone is very thin. At least it was for me. They could never get people to volunteer. And I said, look, Miscavige, you've created your own enemy. It's like Hubbard used to have in the front row at the events were the auditors, or the Sea Org, then the auditors, then the public, then in the back were the paid public. Because, he was like, if you're going to work with us, you're the best. Miscavige is the opposite. You give me the money, you're first row. So everybody changed from, I want to help out, I want to be an auditor, I want to be a volunteer, to screw it, I'm going to be a patron meritorious, which is a lot of money.
Wow. So Lapita had a follow-up. Does everyone in Scientology learn these touch assists?
And I know, and I'm saying no. That was the question that she asked. Does everybody learn how to do it? And I'm saying most people learn how to do it, but as far as being sent out to volunteer, it's a small group of people because nobody wants to do it.
All right.
And then the other one was,
handcuffs.
There was another one. Wait. I have to find.
We've got fuzzies up here right now. How long before we see volunteer ministries propaganda photos of them giving water bottles to fire victims in LA right now? I would think it would be by probably sending them out already to Scientologists saying, look, the hard work, we need your money. We need to chip in so we get Way to Happiness books out there.
Lucky we're here to help you. What would you do without us? Here's a book, Way to Happiness. Yeah, when we had one of those big earthquakes, they asked me to go out. They did a clothing drive, And a lot of people donated clothing, but it was me and one other person went out to give out the clothes. And we went to a park, and there were all these people pretty much homeless because their places had fallen apart. And all of the Latina community were very kind. They accepted the Way to Happiness booklet and the clothing, and they thanked us. The one lady that was an all, white chick, kind of real snotty, was sitting there, and she said, "Oh no, I don't need the Way to Happiness. I don't need any clothes. I'm just fine." And I want to say, "You're just fine? You're sitting in a park. You're homeless? Not fine." No. But anyway, I got back to Scientology, and the only thing Kay Connolly, who was the head of PR, could ask me was, "Did we get any PR? Did they mention L. Ron Hubbard?" That was it. That's it. She never asked, "Are the people okay? Do the people need more clothes? How did it go?" Never. It was just, did they get press?
Yep. Lily Scissorhands says, "I'm behind, but I wanted to tell you that there are already posts on Scientology LA on Facebook with Scientology volunteers and firefighter police officers." So
God, sick.
they're out there. They're doing it. They're getting the word out that they are the only people on Earth who can save humanity.
Oh yeah, Moon and Stars. I wanted to say hi to you too. She just popped on and said hi to us. Everybody who came, thank you for coming on. It really makes a big difference. I really appreciate it.
Well, Tampa org disgusts me, says Bridge 1872. I was streaming a few months ago there and showed how close that org is to the community college. Do you know, Mark, if they actively recruit those college kids? Well, it's one of those things where they're not in Clearwater, because they wouldn't be recruiting in Clearwater because you have to be up in the upper levels for that. But I believe probably in Ybor City, they are recruiting people for missions. Do they do courses at the Ideal Org? I imagine they do, if anyone gets sucked
And
into
they can do them at Flag too. They can do the lower bridge. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As far as I know, they used to be able to. Let's just say that. Whether they still can, I don't know.
All right.
It's mostly for the upper bridge, but I've known people who do courses there. I was on an academy level thing at Flag with all Italians, and they didn't speak any English, and I didn't speak any Italian. But we had a great time together. They were doing this thing, hey, you do your hands where you flip them over.
Yeah.
And they were fast. And we'd come out and break. All right, start. It was really fun.
So Marty Kingshot says apparently Scientology members were hosing down their buildings in Hollywood. Yeah.
Tonight?
Well, probably immediately. I know whenever there's a hurricane coming to Clearwater, they're the first people out there boarding up every window in the Fort Harrison.
Yeah,
all
they
the
do
buildings.
They do that. I've always said they definitely take care of their buildings, but you won't usually evacuate.
I don't know why they'd bother, because they can just, turn it back with their OT powers.
Exactly.
Plumpy?
Do you know anything about the finders? I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone asked me that.
I see.
Plumpy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Plumpy.
Yes,
she gave
thanks,
you $2.
I appreciate that.
There you go.
So we need to find out what are the finders.
I don't know anything about them.
Somebody let us know. If you know the finders, let us know.
Yeah.
So, Steph, you say you saw the Scientologist go onto a campus in Tampa? I would think so.
I think they always will try. How long they get to stay usually depends on if somebody will step up and educate the school about them and what they're doing.
Steph says, but I don't know if they actually actively recruit. The day I was there, the recruiters were just trying to hide from the camera. Okay.
And
They must be
Nasty
very proud.
Nathaniel says that Xenu TV, Mark Bunker, you are a legendary SP.
Wow.
There you
Wow.
go.
Well, I can retire now while I'm at my peak. Wow. Hey, thank you. Does it matter to you? Not to me. Gifted 10 Xenu TV memberships. Bless
Wow.
you. That's awfully nice of you. Keep us going. Oh, by the way, I'm not gonna even hint at what it is, but I've got another fun project that I just started working on that can live alongside the Xenu's Playhouse and this commercial I just added. So I'm looking forward to see if I can get that put together in the next couple of days. It'll be
Okay,
fun.
so
It
the
might be a
title of
series.
this is Something Can Be Done About It. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Mark, it's not fair. Come on.
I had to put up something instantly, and I thought, well, we're volunteer ministers got to have some sort of motto. Something can be done about it.
Oh, so this is a motto for the volunteer ministers?
I don't. It's somebody help me out here because I know it's a term associated with Scientology. I don't know if it's for the volunteer.
Don't give them advice because they'll take it, and that would be a good quote for them.
Yep. Anything else from the folks out there? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything for you, Tori?
Well, I haven't done anything with Scientology because I've been here mainly helping my friends and my son and me and making sure, just staying up to speed on these fires. So it's kind of been a fire week.
So Philosophy has a question for you. How are people inside convinced that this is actually being done? I know that some of these are faked, as in Scientology stages it as well. You mean they're staging some accident scenes or to pretend that they're helping people? I don't know that they have to do that.
Yeah,
there's probably plenty of places they can exploit, but I'm sure there's got to be times when they have shots of the when it was COVID period and they're going around in the hazmat suits and teams of people walking around to spray companies. They had a lot of opposed shots for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Look at us, we're cool.
Now, FYT 54321 said something can be done about it. Is the motto of the Scientology Volunteer Ministers Program.
I thought it was.
I didn't know that.
I just wasn't absolutely positive, but it was what popped into my mind. I thought, oh, well, that's perfect.
Okay, good. Then you didn't give it to him. I thought you gave it to him, and I thought, oh, don't give him good things like that.
So, Marty Kingshot, do you think OSA would be moving their files right now away from the fire?
They don't have any files here. That happened way back with Anonymous when they were going to break in and get their files. And I said, forget it. They don't have files here. They don't have anything. Ever since the FBI raid, I'm sure they've gotten rid of everything that could ever get them in trouble. I know that because I audited executives and I would open up a folder. This is when I was being a sec checker. And I had to get trained to be a security checker so I could co-audit, meaning I'd audit you, you'd audit me. We both had to get trained as security checkers. And then we could do FPRD, which was false purpose rundown, which was just another rundown, but I didn't want to pay for it. So I said, let's just co-audit it. So I was training and I was auditing an executive and at Flag, and I would open up the folder and it would be like Mark all blacked out. And then he all blacked out with all blacked out. It was really scary. It was like, what the hell is this? And then once they saw, okay, she can do that, and I got through it without having a heart attack and leaving, they gave me the next level, which was Mark and then the whole line is cut out, not even blacked out. And then he was with, that's all cut out. You know, it was just like these little pieces of paper stuck together. Really spooky. You think, what the hell were they doing that they had to A, black it out, and B, cut it out?
Well, I have a little bit of video on YouTube. Oh man, I can't think of the guy's name right now. It's one of the people I interviewed, and I'll get back to that question that was just pulled down. But one of the people I interviewed was talking about being there during the Snow White operation when they suddenly had to, after that, go in and take a razor and cut out all the stuff that had been in the files.
Yeah, Spanky had to do that.
Yeah.
It's called vetting.
So what was the question that was up there from Nasty Nathaniel? I recently was in the UK, and me and another YouTuber went out to St. Hill Manor and did some filming and got some interesting responses. I'd like to hear about those. Maybe I could have you on. We went out there to St. Hill with Anonymous, and we did see them actually pretty near the fenced off area by the road. We did see what looked like a whole bunch of boxes of
that's where I
material
said
being
security. Remember that?
Yeah.
The guy. It was sort of like a just like what would you call it that it was in? Like it wasn't an RV, but it was something.
It seemed more like a shed from what I remember.
Like a storage thing, but he opened it up and we could see all those files. But this was at St. Hill. This isn't here in LA. Right. I'm talking about in LA, it's not. But there were all these files, and the guy opened the door, and all of Anonymous was here on the street with Mark and me, and Mark was filming. And I just went like this, out security. And the guy jumped out, locked the door, and ran away.
And here in Clearwater, of course, they have a block-long windowless building that they've put together in the last many years for all the records that are stored.
Where is it?
It's on one of the fairly major cross streets. That it's not close to the org at all.
Okay.
It's about halfway between the water and the highway. And it's fairly anonymous, except there is a flag emblem on one corner. Otherwise, it's just this solid building with not a window anywhere.
Yeah, that's where you know.
Whatever doors there are in the back, so you don't see any way in or out when you're driving past it.
Right. Now, Marty said the Toronto org was raided and Scientology was found guilty on 2 counts of breach of trust in 1992. Yes, but that was back when they were raiding. That's 92. This is 2024. So they're not. It isn't like they have stuff around now. I don't think. I really don't. I mean, they might in Clearwater in that one building, but I'm guarantee it's very difficult to get into.
And FYT 54321 says something can be done about it is also an LRH lecture available on CD from Bridge Pubs for $15. No doubt very stimulating and riveting.
Riveting. As all L. Ron Hubbard's tapes are.
I was at the library this afternoon. I was tempted to take out a L. Ron Hubbard audio book. Not one of the Scientology books, but some of his pulp fiction.
Oh, his fiction?
Yeah.
Oh, we used to
I'm sure it sucks, but I love old radio, and they have been doing for years now these full cast radio productions of his short stories.
Oh.
So maybe I'll get one of these and listen to these just to see what they're like. And then I decided,
then you can give us a full debrief on what do you think?
Well, I'm sure it's going to be crappy stories with very, very excited Scientologists playing all the parts. I saw one was being led by Bart Simpson,
Oh,
whatever her name is right now.
yeah.
Um,
Nancy Cartwright.
yes, thank you. Yeah, and the other one was an actor that was a TV fixture on a lot of series I never watched. I don't know if he was a Scientologist or not. Bruce Boxleitner was leading the other one that I looked at. But if there had been a science fiction one, I probably would have picked it up. But one was a Western, and another was
Right.
some French Foreign Legion type of thing. I said, nah. I did, however, see one Dianetics book on tape, and it was right next to Going Clear and the Inside Scientology book from I can't think of her name right now, Janet Reitman,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So 2-1, there were more critical books than there were Hubbard books on that shelf, at least.
Yeah. I had a fun thing. I had a friend named Greg who used to love to go to old used bookstores. So we went one day and Ray Bradbury was there with an older man who Ray Bradbury's partner said that older man made these movies and that inspired these two to be writers. And it was just fascinating. And we were in in Glendale, this little funky old, used bookstore. And it was probably 20 people at the most, but they knew Hubbard. We mentioned that I was in Scientology and they said, yeah, we knew Hubbard back in the day. And they said, he had some books that were good. It wasn't that they were all bad. But
now, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's it.
I may have missed something here, but Haggis Basher is saying, I bet there's a lot to learn from the approach taken in Toronto. David Miscavige actually testified. I'm not actually sure what that was relating to.
Probably
I apologize.
To learn from the approach taken in Toronto, David Miscavige actually testified. I didn't know he testified. I think he's talking about where they broke in, where they had the you can see above it, Marty said the Toronto org was raided and Scientology was found guilty on 2 counts of breach of trust in 92. So I'm thinking it's that, but I never saw it. It certainly wasn't promoted. But 92, I was still in. Were you a critic then yet?
The raid on the org he's referencing.
Were you?
Was I a critic in 98? Yeah, but I didn't show my face till 99.
No, 92.
Oh, 92? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were still in grade school.
Oh, yes. I was toddling around in diapers, and I still am, I guess.
I know. I won't tell anybody that, but I know.
Oh, yeah. Kelly's asking if I had another clip of Tori I wanted to play.
Okay.
I noticed. There was something put out by CFI today about helping people who are in trouble with the fire. And thinking of CFI reminded me that, my God, that was a second home for you. They loved you there.
Yeah.
And
really
they're calling right now.
Wait just a second. It's CFI. I'll have to call you back. I'm in an interview.
The New York Times. Oh, okay. So say hi to Spanky. So you remember you spoke at the CFI and it was very successful. Yeah. People loved you. That's been online forever.
Yeah, it's been on Tori Magoo 44 forever. That's my YouTube channel. It's been there forever.
It never looked like this before, though.
Ms. Tori Christman, I was in Scientology for 30 years. I used to come to meetings like this. In fact, I went to see Steve Allen. Scientology sent me there to find out if Steve Allen mentioned Scientology as a cult. And it just happened that time he was actually on something totally different. But they do send people to meetings like this. I've been to many of them while I was a Scientologist, and usually the intention is to either distract the speaker off of the subject or degrade the speaker, put them down, say things that make them look bad, etc. And Vaughn and I have agreed that's not going to happen here. And if anybody gets into that, we're going to ask you to leave. So he already mentioned it, but I just wanted to say that's where I come from, because I come from experience on it. I know they do it. We spoke last weekend and they had people there saying, Tory broke her promises. And, and I'm like, I'm not a Scientologist, right?
All right. I just wanted to let you know, Tori, that I remastered it in 4K, so it looks a lot better, sounds better. It's one file now, so we don't have to have chunks of it. And I'll put that up on your channel for you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
And as soon as we're done with this stream, I will be publishing this officially. It's been sitting waiting for you to be on a stream with me and give me a chance to play it.
Oh, good.
Because I said to you at one point, hey, let's talk about you doing your lectures. That'd be a great topic for it. No, I don't want to talk about that. So I found a way to sneak it in now with the CFI saying, we can help with the disaster.
I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I said, no, I don't want to. I think
well, you're bashful.
One subject that you and I disagree on, and I thought that's what you meant we were going to do. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. That's the only one.
Nope. I just wanted to showcase my Magooski.
Well, I'm always okay for that. You're getting better and better. You're really good at what you do. I was telling someone, I think I was telling you, but I tell other people too, the older critics, like Mark was one of the first critics I met. And, we would go to CFI and, I didn't know answers to certain things and Mark knew them. I'd be like, was it, what was the thing with Paul Ed Cooper? What was it called?
See, I used to know things.
Well, what
do you mean, a book or what?
There's two of them, and then we'll remember it.
I'm sorry.
They were the Guardian's Office programs that were big programs, and hers was...
Oh, the Operation Against Her was Operation Freakout.
There you go. Hers was Operation Freakout, and then the other one was... I forget. I can't remember either one, but you knew it. And
I'm a national treasure. Treasure.
You are a natural treasure. You are. But
I think I said national treasurer. You can tell I'm getting tired.
Well, that too. But you, and speaking of treasurer, let's not let this moment pass. Hang on.
How many views did Jason Begay have before I replaced it with the remastered one? I don't know, but the original is still there. I didn't take it down because we got all those responses, all the comments on the videos. So if I remove the video, then those are gone.
Speaking
so
of
you got both.
That is me. Do you see me?
Uh-huh.
Woohoo. I don't know. There you go. See? There?
Yep. Uh-huh.
That's me.
Yep.
Right here. And
Lovely.
Up here at the top is me and Hillary Rodham.
That's right.
That's me and Hillary Rodham. But we were both in a class council together. That's why I was the treasurer, which is really funny if you know how bad I am with math. But I was the treasurer, and I forget what she was. But anyway, that's my brother found that yearbook, and it was from Maine Township, and she and I went to school there together.
You were this close to being the president of the United States.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, for all the videos that I'm replacing, I don't think I'm taking any of them, any of the originals down. And it does frustrate me a little bit that I see people are still watching the other ones that are kind of crappy.
They want to see the originals. People like originals, and then they see the new one.
But they don't even know. They're on most of them. I'm trying to put a link over. So new version right there.
There
Click
you
on
go.
here.
That's a good idea. But that's the
It's
thing
still
I was
off.
going to say that I didn't get to finish is that the older critics kept learning. Like Mark would say things wrong, and then afterwards I would say, look, it isn't this, it's that. And you would remember it, and you would get better and better and better because you kept learning. And a lot of the older critics were like that. They really cared about learning. And that's really important. It is.
Me smart.
Be
Not
smart.
like those old dumps or the new.
See,
dumb
so
guys.
now you're doing AI. I mean, you're way ahead of the game.
So Marty's asking, do I have any Scientology copyright strikes against me? They've used it in the past. They used it very successfully. Yeah, they used it when we had the Lisa McPherson Trust open, and it was our own personal website. YouTube didn't exist then, but so I was putting up all these videos in streaming real video format. And Mary DeMoss started a letter writing campaign, and she contacted the copyright owners of all the shows, like the Phil Donahue show that I put online on YouTube not too long ago. I had a whole bunch of things from Oprah and all sorts of different shows on Scientology at the point. She contacted everybody, and so we got letters from Oprah and all saying, take them down.
Wow.
That was successful, but no, I don't think they've been successful on YouTube at removing anything, although my entire YouTube channel was taken down.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Scientology was one of the 3 strikes, because I think that was right at the time of the Tom Cruise tape, which I had put online originally. And but it also came where the final strike was from Viacom for a wonderful Stephen Colbert Report clip, where I think it was the one where he's dressed up like Xenu with the cape, and he goes into this amazing several minute long Sino-babble thing that clearly he and the writers knew a lot about Scientology to be talking about Thetans and this and that and the other thing. So that was the 3rd strike on me. YouTube said, nope, you can no longer have a channel ever.
Wow. I remember that.
And they're Anonymous. This was around the time of Anonymous. So they peppered Viacom, trying to say, hey, look, and you got to let them put a site back up.
Yeah.
So I eventually talked to the head counsel for all of Viacom.
Wow.
He said, oh, you're the guy we've been hearing so much about. And I told him that, oh, listen, I won't put up any more of your copyrighted material, but if you could take back your strike against me, then I can get the channel back.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. He said, all right, go. So did that. In the meantime, even though I wasn't supposed to, that's when I started Xenu TV 1, which is still on. I started sneaking some stuff back there. And that's still up, and I have no access to it. And somebody in the last few days has been saying, Mark, the email on that is wrong. I can't get a hold of you through that email. Well, no, because I don't have that email. It doesn't exist anymore. But you got a hold of me 5 other places, Facebook and here and there. And today he sent me a link how to get the channel back without having an email or a password for it. So I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow. I want to rebrand that for Bunkinetics and Bunkology. We'll probably make a whole theme of that over there and get rid of some of the older stuff that is duplicates of what I have on Xenu TV. There's one series there that I almost forgotten about. I was looking at yesterday, and I downloaded these 4 videos that were part of the interview we did with rock god guitarist Billy.
Oh yeah,
Billy.
Billy Sheehan.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Who
the
I don't know.
first day of
I don't know.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'd forgotten. Oh yeah, those are up there, and that's interesting. As Tori
Yeah.
and I were both there asking him questions, and he was really nice. He answered everything that we asked of him, even if the answer was, "Well, I can't talk about Xenu."
Just
then
as
he-
a backstory for people who didn't know it, this was when Anonymous showed up in 2008. It was 500 people here in LA, 9,000 people around the world in every major city. They really went wild. It was a section of Anonymous. And this guy showed up in LA at the end of L. Ron Hubbard Way on Sunset, and we were there, and he had a sign saying, "I'll talk to anyone about Scientology." And he's a musician. He's a fabulous musician, Billy Sheehan. And I knew him. And I had done OT3. So he had said OT3 is wrong. You know, what is online is incorrect. Well, what is online on Xenu TV, Xenu.net, www.xenu.net, is the actual handwritten documents of L. Ron Hubbard on OT3. That's it. I did the course. That's exactly what it is. So every time he'd say, well, that isn't true, it was like, okay, which part of it isn't true? You know, for someone who did it, it's like if I told you, well, your computer doesn't really work that way, Mark. You'd be like, all right, which part? You know, it just, it was, yes, he's a very nice guy, but he was definitely sent out by OSA, I think, and trying to dead agent OT3.
Could be. Yeah. So FBC was saying he remembered when that happened. And if you want to see it, you can still see it. It's on Xenu TV 1.
And how did they get to Xenu TV 1? Just type in Xenu TV 1?
That's right. YouTube.com/Xenu TV 1.
Okay. Well, that's
get you
good
there.
To know.
Simple as that.
Take the things down, Mark. I think you should leave them up. It's historic. It is.
Well, the other reason I haven't touched it is because that's when all the anonymous stuff came out. So there's all of those responses to my video and all the history there. So I don't want to lose all that, and I wouldn't take those down. But I do when there's things that I have that look so much better now. I want to at least be able to link to, you know, the remastered ones.
Oh, for sure.
Plumpy's asking, so where do Zionism and Scientology meet? I don't know that they do. I'm no expert on this, but I say Scientology meets every other religion at the wallet.
Bingo.
And FBC also says Billy Sheehan is actually a bass player.
Yeah, he's a wonderful bass player. Yeah, he is. He's a great musician. There's no question about it. But he was the wrong guy to send out that day.
Kiko, I don't know. I think he was the right guy. Billy Sheehan had a jazz fusion band called Niacin, according to his Wikipedia page. Okay, that makes sense.
Wow. And is he still around?
I thought
he play?
I assume.
But maybe this guy would know because
anyone know?
Does anybody know if Billy Sheehan is
still
still
playing?
If
you know. Because I thought he was really nice. I mean, there are a lot of people who would have run. He sat there and talked with us and was pleasant, and we continued to exchange emails for some time after that.
I agree. I think he was a very nice guy.
I can try emailing him and seeing if he'll come on.
Here's my policy, just so you know.
Very good.
I got that to send to Andreas, but I never got to send it to him.
Oh,
I know.
Well,
sad but true.
I'm sure wherever he is, he's still staying weird.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Kiko says that Billy Sheehan's still alive.
Is he? Good. And is he still playing?
Says he's in a band called the Winery Dogs as of 2012. That was a
Oh,
lifetime ago. That's 13 years ago.
yeah, 2012. I'll have to check on Facebook and see if he's
We'll
there.
find out.
Hmm?
All right, we'll find out. Anything else for us to talk about, Tori?
Well, I can't think of anything right now. Does anybody have
Anything
any
else?
questions for
Yeah.
Mark or me? Did we miss anything?
Somebody, well, Plumpy had sent $2. I appreciate that. That was the Zionism and Scientology question. So I'm glad we got that in. I don't know.
The tricky thing about cults, I will say this, just so you know, Plumpy, is I went to a cult conference. I don't know if you were there, Mark, or not. It was way in the beginning. Stacy took me, and I met all these people from different cults, and every one of them, by the end, I'd say, you were in the Sea Org, right? And they'd go, no, Church of Christ, or whatever. They all were in different cults,
Yeah.
and it was so shocking to learn that they were all so similar.
It's amazing how many cults there are out there, and we met people from a lot of them.
Yeah.
The first one that I went to with Bob and Stacy, there were folks from oh God, what was the name of that? I have the videos online still, but there were two members of a small organization in Wisconsin, small, right outside a very small town that I was aware of, having grown up not too terribly far away from it. But this was a guy, an Eastern fella, who came over and decided to create this thing. The only thing I remember about it, Rama Behera was the name of the guy and the group. And Rama Behera would punish these people by putting them in a pickle barrel and, shutting it and leaving them there for the weekend.
Was the 2 kids. That was the last day of the convention. That's the same one.
Yeah.
What we're talking about, the same convention.
Yeah.
And they were two young girls, and they had locked them in those barrels for, I think, 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I remember
eating their own feces.
Yeah, they were telling these god-awful stories. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. There were like 200 people in the room, and you could hear a pin drop. And I said to Stacy afterwards, I said, I don't get it. I mean, I was really newly out of Scientology. And I said, how could anybody have an organization where you can lock children up and you can't do anything? The government doesn't come in and handle this? And she said, Tori, we live in the United States of America, and it was founded on freedom of religion. So in this country, they really protect freedom of religion. I never forgot that, because that was a real demonstration of it.
Yeah, and hearing these stories, I thought, oh, well, maybe there's some exaggeration here. And then a month or two later, I was watching a newscast out of Minneapolis, and there was another woman from the group who had the same stories of being locked in a barrel. And then a few years later, there was a great CBS News story on it, how that cult leader had a hit list for all the people that he was going to kill, including the mayor and the chief of police of that small town. And there were like 20 names on it before he was actually taken into custody.
Wow.
So if you're interested, do a search for Rama Behera, Ramabehera. Yeah, it's fascinating what people can get suckered into. And not a streamer, bro. God bless you, super sticker. That is wonderful.
Congratulations.
Goes a long way. goes a long way toward helping pay for some of these subscriptions I have to keep signing up for. So that will allow me to get another month at a higher level on the voice changing audio channel. If I want to do that book from Paulette Cooper.
Oh,
I mentioned this the other day. You weren't on with me, but with the Scientology spoof that I made, all of the dialogue was recorded by me, and then I went to the site where you could pick a different voice for the different characters.
oh,
So it all
fun.
gets revoiced, and you can clone a voice at that site as well. But I'd used up every penny of my month's worth of work there. So, but yeah, I've got an interview with Paulette Cooper for like 2 hours. And if I take a half an hour worth of audio of her and upload it to that site, they can clone her voice, and then we can have her read her book. I think that would be wonderful, with her permission, of course.
Yeah, I can't say it enough for everybody here. If you can chip in a little money from Mark, because this all goes to him, and he's working really hard. He does a lot of work. And if you chip in $2, $5, every bit helps, and it all adds up. It really does. So whether you do it tonight or another time, definitely do it. He's worth it. He really is.
I'm a national treasure. Don't forget that.
You're a national treasure. There you go. I'm
national
the queen,
treasure.
and you're the
I don't have the key to the national treasury, so $2 would help.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. There you go.
So, look at it. The Winery Dogs' most recent album was released in 2023. So there you go.
And this is
thank you, Kiko.
Billy
That's
Sheehan?
Billy Sheehan's. That's his most current band.
Okay, so he's out there playing. Good.
Yep.
That's good to know.
I'll contact him.
Good. Thank goodness. We need him.
Ooh. Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a nice thing about the firefighting community. They'll fly in from everywhere to help out. I learned this. I was aware that this happened before I was on the council, but I got to know a lot of the firefighters and the police as well. But I was tighter with the firefighters because I had an uncle who was a fireman, so I was, felt a bond with them. And when there was a major hurricane that missed us and wiped out another town south of us, our emergency crews, police and fire, went down and helped them. So it's nice that there are folks out there with having your back.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So JB 808 has said, how likely would it be to have a virtual reunion with Mark, Tori, Jesse Prince, Spanky, and Paulette Cooper? It'd be epic.
All in one stream? Well, okay. Tori set that up for us.
No, I was just going to say, you set it up. You know how to do it. I would have no idea how to set up all those people.
Yeah, it's hard enough for us to get together. I don't know. I think there was some feeler out to Jesse about doing an interview with me, and it sounded like he wasn't that terribly interested. But I'd welcome chatting with
Scientology, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get together with him soon just to have dinner, but I know he's not really big on Scientology.
Good night, AT Chick.
Good night, AT Chick.
All right. I think I have to say good night too, because my voice started going a half an hour ago.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry we kept you longer.
Well, unless there's more that we need to do, but we've been doing these 2.5 hour one.
No. Okay. We can do it. We can do it another time. We'll just keep doing them.
You want to keep going? Let me go get something to drink. And
No,
then
no,
I'll-
no. You're a
I'll come
national treasure. I'm the queen. So we'll have have continuous interviews.
Yeah, but you could decree that I stay.
I know, but I don't want to because I think you need to
Do
rest.
that. All right. Yeah, it's time for us to say goodnight.
It's time.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for your assistance here tonight.
Yes,
thank you,
thank you.
everybody, for showing up.
Thank you.
I hope you had a great time. I know I did.
I did too. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for everybody that came on. Please say a little prayer for myself and my son that everything works out and he's okay. He's here and he's okay, but I'm worried about his home. Whether we won't know till Saturday,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody stay safe. And
Yeah.
we will talk again shortly.
All right. Bye. Peace out.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.